The gleaming silver spacecraft descended through Earth's atmosphere with all the subtlety of a peacock at a formal dinner. Its iridescent hull caught the morning sunlight, sending rainbow refractions across the gathered crowd at the United Nations Interstellar Reception Center in Geneva. Dr. Elena Santos adjusted her uniform's collar for the 5th time in as many minutes. As Earth's lead weapons specialist, she knew her presence at this first contact meeting was more than ceremonial. The Zarkax had requested a complete military technology exchange as part of their diplomatic overtures, and something about their insistence made her uneasy. Nervous, Doctor? General Marcus Chen stepped up beside her, his weathered face bearing the calm expression of someone who had seen too much to be easily impressed. Cautious, Elena replied, watching as the alien vessel's landing gear extended like crystalline flowers blooming. They were very specific about wanting to see our weapon systems. The ship settled onto the landing pad with a soft hum that seemed to vibrate through Elena's bones. A moment later, the first airlock cycled, releasing a fine mist of compatibility atmosphere. Chief Science Officer Vexthor emerged first, his towering form easily 8 feet tall. Iridescent scales covered his elongated head, and multiple arms moved with fluid grace as he descended the ramp. Behind him came his technical delegation, each wearing what appeared to be ceremonial armor that pulsed with embedded energy matrices. Greetings, representatives of Earth. Vexthor's translation device rendered his clicks and whistles into smooth English. We look forward to sharing our superior defensive technologies with your species. Elena caught the slight emphasis on superior, but maintained her diplomatic smile. The preliminary talks moved quickly through the formal introductions until they reached the technical demonstration phase. If you'll follow me, Elena gestured toward the demonstration range. We've prepared examples of Earth's current defense systems. Vexthor's inner eyelids flickered in what the briefing document suggested was amusement. Ah yes, your projectile weapons. We observed these during our approach. Rather quaint. The demonstration range had been carefully prepared with examples of humanity's most advanced publicly known weapons. Elena began with the standard presentations: railguns, guided munitions, and tactical response systems. With each demonstration, Vexthor's delegation exchanged increasingly amused glances. Finally, the alien science officer held up one of his 4 hands. Perhaps we should show you real weapons technology. He gestured, and one of his assistants brought forward a sleek device that hummed with contained energy. This is a basic particle beam rifle, the kind we give to our civilian security forces. With casual grace, he aimed at a target and fired. A burst of purple energy reduced the reinforced steel target to atoms. Impressive, Elena noted, keeping her voice neutral. She could feel General Chen tensing beside her. Your kinetic weapons are interesting historical artifacts, Vexthor continued, mandibles clicking. But surely you see how outdated they are. Energy weapons are the only serious choice for modern defense. Elena shared a quick glance with the general. They had both seen this before, the assumption that flashier meant better. We find our current systems quite effective for our needs, she replied diplomatically. Of course, Vexthor's translator somehow managed to convey condescension. We will help you advance beyond such basic technology. It is, after all, why we came, to lift up developing species. As the delegation moved on to discuss other matters, Elena felt her tablet vibrate. A message from the hidden research facility beneath the Pacific. Project Archimedes testing successful. All parameters exceeded expectations. She allowed herself a small smile. Let the Zarkax think what they wanted about humanity's primitive weapons. After all, history had shown time, and again that pride often preceded a fall. And humanity had learned long ago that sometimes the simplest solutions were the most elegant and the most unexpected. Captain Sarah Chen wiped condensation from her tablet's screen as she descended in the elevator to sublevel Omega. The hidden quantum research facility beneath the Pacific Ocean was humanity's best-kept secret, and for good reason. The gentle hum of the superconducting magnets that powered their experiments vibrated through the facility's bones, a constant reminder of the power they were harnessing. Another late night. Dr. James Martinez looked up from his workstation, surrounded by holographic projections of their latest ballistic computations. The bags under his eyes suggested he hadn't left the lab in at least 24 hours. The Zarkax requested another cultural exchange meeting tomorrow. Sarah replied, setting down her coffee. They want to show us more of their energy weapon demonstrations. Apparently, they think we're slow learners. James chuckled, manipulating the projection of their newest smart material with practiced gestures. The microscopic structure twisted and reformed, displaying its adaptive properties. Did you show them the videos from yesterday's test? Only the old gen stuff. Sarah smiled, pulling up their real data on the main screen. They're still convinced we're stuck in the gunpowder age. Speaking of which, how's Project Archimedes coming along? The engineer's face lit up as he transferred his data to the central display. Take a look at these numbers from the latest micro-guidance system tests. We've achieved precision control at speeds they don't even believe are possible. The simulation played out before them. A swarm of kinetic projectiles, each smaller than a grain of rice, moving in perfect coordination. The smart materials they'd developed allowed the projectiles to alter their properties mid-flight, adapting to any defensive measure they encountered. Their energy shields are impressive, Sarah admitted, studying the data scrolling past. But they're designed to stop plasma and particle beams. They've never encountered anything quite like this. A soft chime interrupted their discussion as Dr. Elena Santos' face appeared on the communication screen. "Captain, you're going to want to see this," she said, transmitting data from the Geneva observation post. The Zarkax just set up some kind of demonstration platform in orbit. The orbital feed showed their visitors' latest display of technological superiority. A shield testing station that filled the sky with purple-hued energy bursts. It was impressive, Sarah had to admit, but also revealing. Every demonstration gave them more data on the aliens' defensive capabilities. They're certainly not subtle, James observed, already running analysis on the energy signatures. But look at these gaps in their shield harmonics. They're not even considering kinetic penetration as a threat. Sarah nodded, watching as their own sensors quietly mapped every fluctuation in the alien defenses. Keep pushing forward with the swarm coordination programming. And James, run another simulation of the metamaterial response times. I want to be absolutely certain about those numbers. The night wore on as they refined their work. In labs across the facility, some of Earth's finest minds quietly advanced human technology beyond anything their visitors could imagine. They weren't developing flashy energy weapons or shield systems. They were perfecting the fundamental physics that had served humanity since the first hunter threw a spear. As morning approached, Sarah reviewed their progress. The latest tests showed their smart materials could change states faster than the Zarkax shields could adapt. Their micro-guidance systems could coordinate movements that would appear impossible to their visitors' sensors. And most importantly, every system they developed was based on principles so basic that the aliens had dismissed them entirely. Sometimes the best innovations aren't about creating something new, she mused, watching the simulation complete another successful run. They're about perfecting what we already know. James nodded, finally saving his work for the night. They think we're simple because we still used physical projectiles. They don't understand that we chose this path not because we couldn't develop energy weapons, but because we found a better way. Sarah finished, allowing herself a moment of pride as she looked at their achievements. Let the Zarkax think what they wanted. Earth would be ready when the time came to reveal just how far their primitive technology had evolved. The red dust of Mars swirled around the massive Zarkax construction platforms as they descended from orbit. Through the secure quantum feed, Admiral Thomas Reeves watched the aliens establish their diplomatic outpost on humanity's doorstep. His weathered fingers drummed against the polished oak table in the UN Security Council chamber as the feed displayed another wave of ships entering Mars orbit. They're not even pretending anymore, Dr. Elena Santos whispered from her seat beside him. The Zarkax had dropped all pretense of asking permission, simply announcing their Mars base as a fait accompli. The chamber's massive doors swung open, admitting Chief Science Officer Vexthor and his expanded delegation. Their ceremonial armor seemed more militant now, energy matrices pulsing with barely contained power. The alien leader's iridescent scales caught the light as he took his position at the speaker's podium. Honorable representatives of Earth, Vexthor's translation device projected his words with perfect clarity. We come today with an opportunity for your species. His golden eyes swept the chamber. The Zarkax Confederation has deemed your solar system worthy of protection. Admiral Reeves noted the slight emphasis on protection, a word that had preceded many occupations throughout human history. Under the table, his hand closed around the quantum beacon in his pocket. Our new Mars Command Center, Vexthor continued, bringing up a hologram of their expanding base, will serve as a forward operations post to ensure your system's security. In exchange, we require only modest resource concessions. The hologram shifted to display a list of demands: exclusive mining rights to the asteroid belt, control of all outer solar system operations, and oversight of Earth's military development. The chamber erupted in murmured discussions. These terms are non-negotiable, Vexthor added, his mandibles clicking in what the humans now recognized as smug satisfaction. But generous, considering the protection we offer. After all, your current defensive capabilities are limited. Captain Sarah Chen, watching from the Pacific facility via SecureLink, exchanged glances with Dr. Martinez. Their latest test results showed otherwise, but the Zarkax remained blissfully unaware of Project Archimedes' success. And if we decline this generous offer? Admiral Reeves kept his voice level, decades of diplomatic experience evident in his tone. Vexthor's inner eyelids flickered. Then we cannot guarantee your security against other, less benevolent species. The galaxy is a dangerous place for developing civilizations. The threat hung in the air, clear as crystal. The UN Secretary-General rose slowly. We will need time to consider your proposal. Of course, Vexthor replied. You have 48 Earth hours to accept our protection. We look forward to a long and productive relationship. As the alien delegation departed, Admiral Reeves waited exactly 3 minutes before activating the quantum beacon. Throughout hidden facilities across Earth, encoded signals pulsed through secure networks. Project Archimedes moved from testing to operational status. They've expanded the Mars base's shield coverage by another 30%. Dr. Santos reported, studying the latest sensor data. Their confidence in their energy shields is absolute. Pride comes before a fall. Admiral Reeves murmured, remembering an old instructor's words from his academy days. Captain Chen, is the package ready? Sarah's voice came through their quantum-encrypted channel. Ready and waiting, Admiral. The smart matter swarm is primed, and our orbital platforms are in position. They won't see it coming, literally. Their sensors can't detect what they don't believe exists. Maintain present course, the Admiral ordered. Let them think they have us cornered. Sometimes the best response to a show of force is to let them show their hand first. Elena finished, sharing a knowing look with her superior. Above Mars, the Zarkax continued expanding their base, their energy shields shimmering with purple radiance. They never thought to look for threats their sensors insisted couldn't exist. After all, what harm could a civilization's primitive weapons do to their superior technology? They would learn soon enough. The 48-hour deadline approached its final minutes as Captain Sarah Chen stood in the control center of Platform Newton, humanity's most advanced orbital installation. Hidden beneath layers of metamaterial cloaking, the station had remained invisible to Zarkax sensors throughout their months of surveillance. Final diagnostic complete, Dr. James Martinez reported from his station. Smart matter payload is ready for launch. Targeting solutions locked. On the main display, the Zarkax Mars Command Center dominated the view. Its shield bubble pulsed with purple energy, a constant reminder of their technological pride. The alien facility had grown considerably over the past 2 days, its crystalline towers stretching skyward in defiance of Earth's sovereignty. Incoming transmission from Mars, Lieutenant Park announced, her hand steady on the communications array. They're demanding our answer. The quantum-encrypted channel from UN Command activated, displaying Admiral Reeves's stern expression. Captain Chen, are we prepared to demonstrate our response? Sarah checked the final calculations one last time. Their projectile, a marvel of human engineering wrapped in an unassuming package, waited in its launch cradle. Ready on your order, Admiral. On the main screen, Chief Science Officer Vex Thor's face appeared, mandibles twitching with barely concealed satisfaction. Representatives of Earth, your time for consideration has expired. We await your acceptance of our generous protection. Admiral Reeves stood tall, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's resolve. We have considered your offer, and we have prepared our response. He nodded almost imperceptibly to Sarah. Captain, you may proceed. Sarah's fingers danced across the control interface. Project Archimedes, Phase 1 initiating. Launching in 3, 2, 1. Platform Newton shuddered slightly as it released its payload. To an outside observer, the launch would have been nearly invisible. A single projectile, hardly larger than a standard satellite, accelerating silently through space. The Zarkak sensors didn't even register the launch. Their systems, calibrated to detect energy weapons and plasma signatures, remained blind to the elegantly simple kinetic projectile approaching their base. Impact in 30 seconds, James reported, monitoring the Smart Matter's real-time adjustments. The projectile's microscopic systems continuously optimized its trajectory, ensuring perfect accuracy. On Mars, Vex Thor was still speaking. Your silence suggests defiance. Perhaps a demonstration of our defensive capabilities will. The alien commander never finished his sentence. The Smart Matter projectile, traveling at a velocity that would have made Earth's early physicists proud, struck the Zarkak shield precisely at its resonant frequency point. For a fraction of a second, the purple energy field flared brilliantly. Then it shattered. The kinetic payload, its Smart Matter reconfiguring for maximum effect, pierced the Mars Command Center's main tower with surgical precision. Physics, that most fundamental of sciences, did the rest. The crystalline structure, so impressive in its alien design, collapsed in on itself with mathematical perfection. Silence filled the command center as they watched the aftermath. The Zarkax's mighty shield generators, useless against such primitive weapons, sparked and died. Their command structure, minus its central tower, stood as a testament to the folly of underestimating humanity's capabilities. By Newton's laws, Sarah whispered, a slight smile playing at her lips. Exactly as calculated. The alien communication channels erupted in chaos. Their sensors, finally registering the damage, struggled to comprehend how their supposedly impenetrable defenses had failed. Emergency signals flashed across the Martian surface as secondary facilities scrambled to respond. Message from Admiral Reeves, Lieutenant Park announced. He says, perhaps now they're ready to consider our terms. Dr. Martinez studied the damage analysis with professional interest. One shot, he mused. All that preparation, all that testing, came down to one perfect shot. Sarah nodded, watching as the dust settled on Mars' surface. Sometimes the simplest solution is the most elegant. They thought we were primitive because we still used physical projectiles. They forgot the most basic law of physics, James added. An object in motion tends to stay in motion, unless acted upon by an equal or greater force. Sarah finished, and their shields weren't even close to equal. The observation deck of the International Space Station provided a perfect view of the approaching Zarkak's diplomatic vessel. Unlike their previous visits, this ship arrived with shields powered down, a gesture of caution rather than courtesy. Dr. Elena Santos waited with Admiral Reeves as their airlock cycled, admitting a much humbler Chief Science Officer Vex Thor. "Your demonstration was enlightening," Vex Thor said, his translator struggling to convey the complex mix of emotions in his clicks and whistles. "We request an explanation of how you bypassed our shield technology." Elena shared a glance with the Admiral before activating the holographic display. "Perhaps we should start with the basics of materials science," she suggested, bringing up a visualization of their smart matter technology. The projection showed microscopic structures shifting and flowing like liquid mercury. "While you focused on energy manipulation, we perfected matter manipulation," she explained. "Each projectile contains billions of programmable particles, capable of adapting their properties in real time." "Impossible," one of Vex Thor's junior scientists chittered. "Such precision at that scale would require understanding of quantum mechanics at a fundamental level." Dr. James Martinez stepped forward, having arrived from Platform Newton. "We mastered that decades ago. We simply chose a different path than energy weapons." The display shifted to show swarms of micro-projectiles moving in perfect synchronization. "Our guidance systems don't fight physics," James continued. "They work with it. Each particle knows its place in the greater dance." Captain Sarah Chen, monitoring from Platform Newton, transmitted the next set of data. The hologram expanded to show the full scope of Earth's defensive network, a web of seemingly simple platforms that could launch thousands of smart projectiles in precisely coordinated patterns. "Your shields are impressive," Elena acknowledged, "but they're designed to stop energy attacks, plasma, particles, radiation. They never considered the potential of kinetic weapons because you thought we were stuck in the age of simple bullets." The display showed a simulation of their smart matter projectiles in action. As they approached a shield, their structure shifted, creating microscopic patterns that matched the shield's resonant frequencies. Like a wine glass shattering at the perfect pitch, the defense field collapsed at the point of impact. "We didn't need to overpower your shields," James explained, noting the mixture of horror and fascination in the alien scientist's expressions. "We simply had to understand them. Every frequency has its counterpoint. Every defense has its elegant solution." Vex Thor moved closer to the display, his golden eyes reflecting the dancing light of the simulation. "All this time," he mused, "we thought you were centuries behind us. But you weren't trying to catch up to our technology. We were perfecting our own path," Elena finished. "Sometimes the oldest principles are the most reliable. We didn't need energy weapons when we could master the basic forces of physics itself." The simulation showed their latest innovation, metamaterial projectiles that could change not just their structure but their fundamental properties. They could become harder than diamond or flow like water, conduct energy or reflect it, all within microseconds of impact. "Your species," Vex Thor said slowly, "has taken what we considered primitive and elevated it to an art form. The precision, the coordination, the understanding of fundamental physics. We had good teachers," Admiral Reeves interjected quietly. "Newton, Einstein, Hawking. They taught us that true advancement doesn't always mean more complexity. Sometimes it means understanding simplicity so completely that it becomes extraordinary." As the demonstration concluded, Earth's first perfect spring evening descended over the Terminator line below them. In the fading light, humanity's primitive weapons platforms orbited silently, their metamaterial cloaking making them nearly invisible even to knowing eyes. "Perhaps," Vex Thor suggested, his earlier arrogance replaced by genuine curiosity, "it is time for our peoples to learn from each other. We have much to teach you about energy manipulation. And we," Elena smiled, "can show you the elegance of keeping things simple." Not all of the Zarkak's leadership shared Vex Thor's newfound respect for human ingenuity. High Commander Zelfar, watching from the bridge of the flagship Eternal Radiance, saw only the shame of their Mars base's destruction. His mandate from the Confederation Council was clear: restore Zarkak's honor through a display of overwhelming force. "Launch the first wave," he commanded, his scales darkening with determination. "Show these humans the true might of a proper fleet." Across Earth's orbital space, Captain Sarah Chen received the warning from their long-range sensors. She stood in Platform Newton's command center, watching as hundreds of Zarkax vessels emerged from faster-than-light travel. Their energy weapons charged, creating a web of purple lightning between ships. "They're not here to talk," Dr. James Martinez observed, his fingers dancing across the control interface. Multiple targeting locks detected. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Then let's show them our dance. Initialize Operation Swallow's Dance." Throughout Earth's defense network, hidden platforms awakened. Years of preparation and innovation crystallized into this moment. The first wave of Zarkax energy weapons fired, their beams cutting brilliant paths through space. "Release the swarms," Sarah commanded. From dozens of metamaterial-cloaked platforms, clouds of microscopic smart matter projectiles emerge. Each smaller than a grain of sand, they moved in perfect coordination, their paths calculated with quantum precision. Like flocks of swallows weaving through summer air, they flowed between the energy beams. "Impossible." High Commander Zelthar growled as his targeting systems failed to lock onto the human countermeasures. "Nothing can move with such precision." But the swarms did move, their paths describing complex three-dimensional patterns that seemed to defy physics. Where Zarkax energy beams sliced through space, the smart matter particles simply weren't there, having calculated and executed their evasive maneuvers microseconds before the beams fired. "Second wave incoming," Lieutenant Park reported from her station. "They're adapting their firing patterns." The Zarkax fleet's energy weapons switched to rapid-fire mode, attempting to saturate space with enough firepower to catch the elusive human defenses. But the swarms responded with even more intricate maneuvers, their movements becoming a hypnotic dance through the storm of energy beams. "How?" one of Zelthar's bridge officers demanded. "Their trajectories should be impossible to calculate at those speeds." Dr. Elena Santos, coordinating from Earth Command, transmitted her response on an open channel. "We didn't try to calculate everything. We learned from nature instead. Watch how birds fly, how fish swim in schools. Sometimes the most complex problems have simple, elegant solutions." The swarms demonstrated her point, their movements mimicking the fluid dynamics of natural systems. Each particle knew its place in the greater pattern, responding to its neighbors just as starlings do in their evening murmurations. When the swarms finally reached the Zarkax fleet, they didn't attack. Instead, they surrounded each ship in shifting, flowing spheres of smart matter. Any attempt to fire energy weapons would result in the beams being caught in endless recursive patterns, harmlessly redirected back into space. "Beautiful," Sarah whispered, watching the display. The swarms had turned warfare into art, creating complex geometric patterns that contained the Zarkax ships without destroying them. High Commander Zelthar stood rigid on his bridge, watching as his mighty fleet was rendered impotent by particles too small to see with the naked eye. "We have more ships arriving," he announced, but his voice lacked conviction. "And we have more swarms," Sarah replied calmly. "We could do this dance forever, Commander. Or we could try something different." The silence that followed was broken only by the soft hum of ship systems and the occasional ping of sensors tracking the endless dance of humanity's defensive swarms. In that moment, even the most hardened Zarkax warriors had to admit there was something magnificent about being defeated with such grace. The United Earth Council chamber had never hosted such an unusual gathering. Chief Science Officer Vexthor stood before the assembly, but this time without the ceremonial armor or the air of superiority that had marked his first visit. Beside him, High Commander Zelthar's scales had shifted to the muted colors that indicated deep contemplation. "We came to your system believing we understood the nature of technological advancement," Vexthor began, his translator conveying a new tone of respect. "We were wrong." Dr. Elena Santos sat with the Earth delegation, watching as Captain Sarah Chen's holographic presence flickered beside Admiral Reeves. Even from Platform Newton, she remained an integral part of these historic proceedings. "Your smart matter swarms," Zelthar added, gesturing to the holographic display, showing the still dancing particles around his contained fleet. "They don't just demonstrate advanced technology. They show a fundamental understanding of natural principles that we, in our pursuit of energy manipulation, had overlooked." The display shifted to show side-by-side comparisons, a murmuration of starlings next to a human defense swarm, ocean currents alongside their fluid battle formations, crystal growth patterns matching their adaptive structures. "You didn't just develop weapons," Vexthor continued. "You studied the universe itself and learned to work with its most basic laws. While we fought against physics, trying to dominate it with brute force, you learned to dance with it." Dr. James Martinez, who had arrived from Platform Newton earlier that day, stepped forward with new simulation data. "We've analyzed your energy shield technology," he offered. "It's brilliant in its own right. We believe there might be ways to combine our approaches." The simulation demonstrated a hybrid defense system. Zarkak's energy shields working in harmony with human smart matter swarms, each complementing the other's strengths. The possibilities were extraordinary. "Our council has transmitted their response to Earth's terms," Zelthar announced, his inner eyelids flickering with what they now recognized as embarrassment. "We accept your proposal for mutual defense and technological exchange. The Mars base will be restored, under joint operation." Admiral Reeves nodded graciously. "We look forward to working together. There's much we can learn from each other." "Indeed," Vexthor agreed. "Your mastery of kinetic systems and material science far exceeds our understanding, and our knowledge of energy manipulation could open new horizons for your scientists." Sarah's hologram shifted slightly as she added, "We've already begun analyzing the potential applications. Your shield harmonics, combined with our smart matter technology, could revolutionize space travel." The chamber's atmosphere had transformed from the tense confrontations of weeks past, where there had been suspicion and arrogance. Now there was genuine curiosity and respect. "There is an old human saying," Elena offered, seeing the genuine interest in the alien delegates' postures. "The more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know." "A wise perspective," Vexthor acknowledged. "We had grown complacent in our technological advancement. Your species reminded us that innovation comes in many forms." The display showed their contained fleet, still wrapped in the mesmerizing patterns of smart matter swarms. "When we first saw your weapons," Zelthar admitted, "we thought them primitive. Now we see them as elegant poetry written in the language of physics itself." Sarah's hologram smiled. "Sometimes the simplest solutions require the deepest understanding. We didn't need exotic energy weapons when we could perfect the basics." As the formal proceedings concluded, humans and Zarkaks began breaking into smaller groups, scientists from both species already deep in technical discussions. The chamber buzzed with the excitement of shared discovery. "Perhaps," Vexthor suggested to Elena as they watched their colleagues interact, "this is the true path of advancement, not through competition, but through recognizing and learning from different approaches to understanding the universe." The Earth-Mars Joint Research Initiative would begin the next day. But today, two species had learned that true wisdom sometimes meant acknowledging that the simplest path could lead to the most profound discoveries. 5 years had transformed the Mars Research Complex beyond recognition. The crystalline towers of the original Zarkak's base, now intertwined with human-designed smart matter structures, creating an architectural harmony that symbolized the cooperation between the two species. Admiral Sarah Chen, recently promoted from her captain's role, stood in the main observation dome, watching students from both species gather for the afternoon lectures. Still hard to believe sometimes, isn't it? Dr. Elena Santos joined her at the window, her research tablet displaying the latest joint project data. 5 years ago, they thought we were barely past throwing rocks. Now their youngest and brightest come here to study our primitive technology. Sarah smiled, watching a young Zarkak student enthusiastically explaining Newton's laws to his human classmates. His manipulators traced graceful arcs in the air as he described orbital mechanics. the Interstellar Science Academy had become the crown jewel of human-Zarkax cooperation. In the main laboratory, Dr. James Martinez worked alongside Vexthor, their earlier antagonism replaced by genuine friendship and scientific curiosity. They led a team developing hybrid systems that combined the best of both species approaches. The latest test results from the Jupiter station are impressive, Elena noted, bringing up the data. The combination of their energy manipulation and our smart matter technology has reduced stellar radiation exposure by 98%. Deep space exploration is about to become much safer. Through another window, they could see the defense platforms that still orbited Mars. But now, instead of holding weapons, they served as teaching tools. Swarms of smart matter particles danced in complex patterns, demonstrating everything from fluid dynamics to quantum mechanics. Admiral, a young lieutenant called from the communication station. The long-range survey team is ready for their presentation. They made their way to the central amphitheater, where humans and Zarkax sat together in comfortable chaos. At the podium, High Commander Zelfar, now Chief of Exploration, stood with his human counterpart, ready to present their findings. The joint survey of the Proxima Centauri system has revealed something extraordinary, Zelfar began, his translator now perfectly matched to his vocal patterns. Using our combined technologies, we've discovered signs of emerging life on one of its planets. The holographic display showed a pristine alien world, its oceans shimmering with the first stirrings of biological activity. 5 years ago, the human explorer added, neither of our species could have detected these subtle signs. But together, Sarah finished quietly, we're writing a new chapter in both our histories. After the presentation, Sarah found herself back in the observation dome. The sun was setting, painting the Martian sky in shades of pink and gold. Below, students and teachers from both species mingled in the gardens, their conversations a mix of translated clicks and human speech. You know what the youngest ones call this place? Elena asked, joining her again. They call it the bridge. Not because it connects Mars and Earth, but because it bridges different ways of thinking about the universe. In the distance, a new group of Zarkax ships descended through the atmosphere, their energy shields harmonizing with the smart matter guidance systems that humans had developed. Each arrival no longer brought tension, only the excitement of new possibilities. Did you ever imagine this? Sarah asked, watching a human child fearlessly demonstrating Earth games to a group of fascinated Zarkax youngsters. When we were preparing Project Archimedes, did you think it would lead here? Elena shook her head, smiling. We were just trying to protect Earth. But sometimes the best defense isn't about weapons at all. It's about showing others a different way of seeing things. As night fell over the Mars complex, the combined lights of human and Zarkax technology illuminated the research center like a beacon. It stood as a testament not to the superiority of either species, but to the understanding that true advancement comes from recognizing that every perspective, no matter how simple it might first appear, has something valuable to teach. In the end, what had started as a confrontation over primitive weapons had evolved into something far more powerful, a bridge between stars, built on the foundation of mutual respect and shared discovery.